Hello, everyone, and welcome to PFV Productions. This is a channel that has been around for a long time, but has not been active in a while. However, with the recent release of Prey, I have been pretty inspired to create some more content, especially revolving around Predator, Alien, and other fun sci-fi stuff. This video is going to mainly be all about my thoughts on Prey and how much I enjoyed it. Uh, in general, there are a couple of things that I really wanted to talk about while I have some Hunting Grounds gameplay playing in the background, and that is the pacing. I thought was very good, and this felt like a really good movie. It didn't necessarily try to do too much, and sometimes when you try to do too much with films, especially films that are in a franchise that's already established, if you try to do too much, it might make it silly, might make it not really enjoyable. But I'm happy to say that Prey is certainly doesn't try to do too much, and as a matter of fact, it does just enough to leave me wanting more, more from this director. And I don't know if I would want to see a sequel to Prey in terms of following the same character. As much as I do enjoy the main character of the film, I don't know if it would be as good or better if we saw her again. But I just want to get down to a couple of main ideas. And honestly, just what's so great about this is that this is finally a good Predator movie. Thinking back to all the years that I've been a fan of Predator, yes, me being a big fan of Predator has, kind of gives me rose tinted glasses with certain aspects, especially when it comes to Predators. Um, I like Predator 2 quite a bit, but now after watching Prey, I had just watched Predators last night. Man, I gotta say, I definitely would say Prey is right up there, right after the first movie. I think the first movie is the best. It's kind of hard to beat that, but I really like Prey because it's something that doesn't try to emulate too many of or repeat too many of the same beats that come from the first movie. Especially with Predators, I know a decent history about the film and the process of making it. It was kind of rushed, and I still really, really enjoy Predators. I honestly do. But the thing for me about Predators is that there are a lot of the same things happening in Predators as there was in the original. And while that's cool and that's fun for me as a fan to see Prey be something on its own is really awesome. I have to give credit to AVP Galaxy for this, but in their review with Ridgetop and Mike's Monsters, one of the things they mentioned was the music and the score of the film. And man, I really love it because it's not trying to be Predator. When you're trying to be something and you don't hit the same notes that you have to hit, it is really, really difficult to be likable. And while I really do enjoy Predators, what I love about Prey is that it's its own movie that respects what the Predators are. Not that Predators doesn't, but the point is that it's not trying to be Predator One. Yes, there are some very similar elements. Of course, hunter, hunted, absolutely having to outsmart the Predator. I understand that, and then in the future, I would like to see, if in another Predator film, where no matter where it's set, whether we're going back in time, whether we're kind of gonna try to tell a new story, uh, in a more modern time, uh, I would like to see something different in terms of what the outcome is in of the film, and also I would like to see a different story beat to it. One of the cool things about Predators is it does introduce like rival clans. One Predator clan may be there, enhancing themselves, or this type of Predator is relatively stronger, and I think that that would be really awesome to see. maybe fleshed out a little bit more. It doesn't have to be fleshed out more, but one thing that would be cool is to see something that gives us Predator fans and fans of just this franchise, sci-fi, just fans of movies in general, not the same story. Maybe some kind of rivaling Predator clan action could be interesting in a future film. Um, just maybe not go again with the hunter hunted. Now it's very hard to do that and make it not silly. So it very well could be hunter hunted situation, no matter what the setting is. But I think what Predator 2 does well is it does kind of set up this, okay, we know what these things are. We're acknowledging their existence. Now, what are we going to do about it? And I would like to see a movie possibly centered around something like that. Um, but I'm going off on too much of a tangent here. At the end of the day, I think what Prey does really well is it respects what predators are. Maybe, the predator face, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think it mainly has to do with like the forehead. It looked really weird to me. But otherwise, I thought the design of the predator was really good. But in general, it respects the predator. These are fierce hunters. These are fierce warriors. And if you're going to beat them, you have to outsmart them, or you have to pay attention. Um, I mean, it's one of those situations, like, I know people have a problem with how the predator's killed and who it's killed by, but I mean, not for nothing, how old was Harrigan in Predator 2? I mean, we're talking about an LA cop, and I mean, what is maybe his 50s, maybe 40s? I don't remember. I should kind of look that up, but at the end of the day, it's like, we're talking about a police officer able to beat a predator who is, in their 40s or 50s, maybe close to retirement. You know, the only one that makes sense so far, honestly, in the I don't like the Predator like at all. In the four Predator movies, uh, the only one that makes the most sense is Arnold or Dutch killing the Predator in Predator 1. But let's be honest, the Predator could have easily killed Dutch. I mean, the Predator lifts Dutch up an extra like foot or two with one hand and easily takes punches from Dutch, takes Dutch hits him with a log. I mean, or like a tree branch. I mean, not at the end where the Predator's defeated, but in order to beat a Predator, it's not going to be a physical fight. That's just not possible. So anybody complaining about that needs to stop, because they're just not watching the movies, or they're just not a fan of Predator enough to understand what it actually takes to beat them. Same thing in Predators, same thing in Predator 2, same thing in Predator 1. Outsmarting and taking advantage of a situation is how you kill them. If the Predator wants you dead, you're more than likely going to be dead unless they don't see you as a threat, or unless they think they've won and you kind of outsmart them in that sense. The Predator in Predator 1 is outsmarted. Dutch is lucky to end up where he was, but he's outsmarted. Predator in Predator 2 is beaten because it thinks it's already won. Harrigan's kind of down in the smoke, and then boom, there he comes with the disc. And that Predator was incredibly clumsy. I mean, I love the design of that Predator. I mean, like I said, I enjoy the movie, but that Predator is very clumsy. The Predator in Predators is beaten in a pretty cool way, I do think. I mean, one of the cool things about how that Predator is defeated is, what kind of goes on leading up to that kind of final showdown. And, it has to fight another Predator, which listen, the crucified Predator or captured Predator, it holds its own after being hung up for how many days, weakened, and still is able to get some really good licks in. And on top of that, it gives Adrian Brody an opportunity, or Royce, I should say. I apologize. It gives Royce an opportunity to then take advantage of, I wouldn't say the weakened state that Mr. Black was in at that point in time, but just an element of surprise, taking advantage of those opportunities. But that's how a predator is killed. It's usually not going to be a one-on-one thing. I mean, unless you're equal strength, it's not going to happen. It has to be either shot down, um, or it has to be outsmarted. And that's how it goes in Prey. And I think the way that it's done is really cool, because as much as Naru really does outsmart the predator, she doesn't physically do anything. She makes the predator kill itself. Now, I think at the very end, maybe it should have been a little faster, how the arrow kind of flips around and gets the predator, so it doesn't look as silly when the predator's just looking and just like, like maybe the predator should have, or the arrow should have been a little bit quicker. And that's just kind of editing. I think that could have happened a little bit faster, so it didn't look as comical. But the other thing, Prey is just such a really good film in general, and I think that it shows how it's a good thing to respect where things come from, but not try to copy it and not try to take it too far away from what it was. I think the biggest complaint I have with the movie is seriously just the face of the Predator. I'm not a big fan of, but the gear, the armor of the Predator, the feral Predator is badass. I love it. I want to see more from this director. I think that they all did such a great job. The actors were awesome. There are a couple story beats, of course, that they kind of hit you over the head with, but man, I really enjoyed this film. I hope everyone else did. It's one of those films that I think is going to be so good for the Predator franchise, and I'm excited to see more. I really want to see Dan Trachtenberg, I believe is how you say his name, and everyone else involved in this film to really come back and do another one, whether it's more contemporary or back in time. Maybe in the future, I don't know about that one. Maybe like 10 years from now or 5 years from now. But at the end of the day, I really did enjoy Prey. I thought that it was a sequel done right, in that it takes what's good from the first movie or the original movie, and it kind of adds to it. There's reason for it, and it doesn't try to emulate or copy it. It's just, it is what it is. And that's really important, I think, moving forward for the Predator franchise. I want to see more of that kind of thing, where it respects what the Predator is, it respects what kind of lore there is behind it, and it tries to do something different while still staying grounded in what the franchise is all about. And I think that's kind of where it goes absolutely crazy with The Predator. And I know there's a whole wacky history behind the filmmaking of that movie, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, and I've said that several times by now, I do apologize. Prey is awesome. It's a sequel done right. The music is great. It's not a copy of Predator. This is music we've never heard in Predator films before. It's really good. The action is so intense. The choreography and a lot of the fights are awesome. The gore is incredible. And I want to see more like this. And I think this is something that is really just, it's so good. And I'm so happy to see it for the Predator franchise as a Predator fan. And it's just been so great to see so much positive feedback for this movie. It's something that I think a lot of people are watching and a lot of people are liking. So I hope you enjoyed this little take on Prey. This is the first video this channel's had in a long time, but I really am inspired to get back into this and grow this channel to become something great. I want to talk more about Prey. I want to talk more theories about Prey. I want to talk more about a whole bunch of other sci-fi stuff. So if you like this video, please subscribe, give it a like, and wherever you are in this world, I hope you have a great day or night, and I'll see you in the next one.